why they fear their H-negative bloodline. Here's a
Come on in here in the chat. Talk to us. There was a awesome little thing here. There was I don't know if this was Arizona or Mexico. I don't know where. Um, um, Sometimes, I believe that good Lord works in mysterious ways. And Denver, Colorado. Um, they seen this wild Mustang hovering over a blanket, and come finding out, it was laid on the ground and had one of its arms or legs, draped over the uh, blanket, and just laying there. And come find out that it was some young person that was rock climbing and fell, and somehow or another the horse took the wrap off him or her, I don't know. But it was a rocky landscape. There was all kind of serious things, snakes. Um, there's a very high drop off, but the stallion uh, laid across it, and it was a coat, not a blanket. Um, it was a native man, uh, about 16-year old, so a boy. Um, but the hiker filmed it all, and when he walked up to see what was in that blanket or jacket, it was that 16-year-old boy. He just wouldn't. That Mustang wouldn't let nobody get around him. That's pretty neat. Let's see what this one is. Belinda Gray drops bombshell. He told me everything. Here's another one that said, she planned it all along. Her and her mom. And then there's one here. Kids were dead. I think that one's going to be pretty much numbnuts talking about that one. More kids missing.
also blocked on Messenger with Malaya. So she reached out and Malaya reached back, and Malaya's words were, I think I had sent them to you, that if Belinda wants to know that me and Meadow are safe, and if Belinda wants to know anything about her grandchildren, she can contact the RCMP.
Exactly. Okay.
Now that, do you take that statement as weird too? Because I would.
I did. Right away I did, and I assumed that it must have been Cindy that had Malaya's phone.
Down to the
Right.
That's the only thing I could figure, because Malaya would never word it that way.
Imagine a whisper in the wind, a fleeting moment of quiet that shatters into a deafening silence. What if that silence swallowed two innocent children whole, leaving behind only questions, suspicion, and a tangled web of accusations? And what if, at the heart of that web, was a grandmother's shocking claim that the stepfather, Daniel Martel, actually said the children's mother, Malihia, and her own mother were involved in their disappearance? Before we delve into
See, you know, it would have had, someone had to say something. I mean, because Daniel was all about Malaya, protecting her in every which way possible. But now him ratting her out, daggum well, he's got pissed off and scared about something. I think he's got backed into a corner. Nobody's taking his side. And he just flipped. But whatever happened, Malaya flipped out and took it out on these children. And guilt is when you try to hide. Hey, Sabina. So, her running, her leaving, and then her, soon as the baby got taken, she cut out again. But now, Daniel is saying that Malaya and her mama planned this thing out. I don't believe that part. I don't believe it. I don't think this was, hey, happy 4th of July, love. Happy 4th of July to everybody from JSV. I don't believe none of this was planned out. I think they probably got pissed off, did their argument like they normally do, and she snapped and just went too far. Hurt the children too bad. Even Numbnose said that, she's done something that she can't fix back. Hang on, guys. Is it lagging? Oh, well, not now. Someone had to say something to get Daniel to start rapping on Malaya. Okay. It just threw that thing up there for just a second. Either that or he watched one of these videos. Hey, love. If he watched one of these videos and we hit it purposely correct, then that could have set him off to want to go ahead and throw her under the bus. Because everybody knows from day one, he's trying his best to keep everything he can off of Malaya. Now him putting everything on Malaya and Malaya's mom, trying to say this thing was a planned out deal. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. I think it was just all of a sudden thing. And I think Daniel's mom knew about it because she probably heard them come in and seen what happened. And then she had to tell her mom, regardless of, however, Daniel and Malaya are the ones that has done this. Now, I don't believe that for 1 minute Daniel took the lives of these children. But Malaya being off the rocker a little bit, yeah. The deal with hiding them down in a basement, that dog won't hunt neither. Yeah, sure has. So the waters got hot. Okay, Numbnuts is telling on both of them. And now Daniel was only telling on Malaya. But now he's telling on Malaya and her mama. So right there's 4 suspects right there. Not counting the 2 friends that was involved that was here that night. Probably his brother, his mom. There'll be quite a few. And I think Numbnuts thinks with him telling everything except for where the children were, he thinks he was doing a good thing. No, you're just incriminating yourself. So let's see what he says.
To the heart-wrenching disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, I urge you, if this story touches you, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel to support independent true crime investigation and help us shed light on these forgotten cases. And in the comments below, tell me where you're watching from. Let's see how far the reach of awareness can go.
Well, she would call them her kids anyway. She wouldn't say if she wants to know anything about her grandchildren. I know the Malaya I knew would never word it like that. So I assume maybe Cindy was the one that sent that message. I wanted to go and I wanted to speak to Daniel.
This is Malaya's mom doing the talking.
She took me there. She dropped me off. I walked towards the trailer. Jamie come out of the trailer and asked who I was. And as I was stating who I was, Daniel come out and said that that's Belinda, Cody's mom. So he come out and I said, I hope you talk to me. And he said, I will. He said, I don't want to talk here. Let's go out in the driveway further. So that's what we did. We walked out to the middle of the driveway. And I told him that I had tried contacting Malaya and she did block me. And he said, yeah. He said, weird, isn't it? Then he proceeded to tell me that the whole thing is strange. And he thinks Cindy and Malaya's half-sister had something to do with it, because he said the whole thing just doesn't make sense to him. And then he proceeded to tell me of how he searched. Now, I wanted to go and I wanted to speak to Daniel. Oh. My sister took me there. She dropped me off. I walked towards the trailer. Jamie come out of the trailer and asked who I was. And as I was stating who I was, Daniel come out and said that that's Belinda, Cody's mom. So he come out and I said, I hope you talk to me. And he said, I will. He said, I don't want to talk here. Let's go out in the driveway further. So that's what we did. We walked out to the middle of the driveway. And I told him that I had tried contacting Malaya and she did block me. And he said, yeah. He said, weird, isn't it? Then he proceeded to tell me that the whole thing is strange. And he thinks Cindy and Malaya's half-sister had something to do with it, because he said the whole thing just doesn't make sense to him. And then he proceeded to tell me of how he searched. Now,
their mother, Malihia Brooks Murray, and stepfather, Daniel Martell, reported them missing around 10 a.m. that fateful Friday. The last they reported seeing Lily was in
9-on-1 light. Come on, guys.
Inside the home and hearing Jack in the kitchen. Both children had been kept home from school due to Lily having a cough, and were last confirmed to have been seen in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st. What began as a seemingly ordinary morning quickly spiraled into an inexplicable nightmare. Lansdowne Station, nestled about 30 kilometers from New Glasgow, is characterized by its sparse population and challenging, dense, rural forest. This terrain would soon become the focal point of a massive, agonizing search. Immediately following the report, a large-scale search effort was launched, involving countless dedicated volunteers, ground search and rescue teams, dog teams, drones, and even helicopters, tirelessly combing over vast areas. The hope, initially, was that the children had simply wandered off, a common theory in rural disappearances. Yet, as days turned into weeks, that hope began to fade. Despite the children's tender ages and the urgency of the situation, a formal Amber Alert was not issued. The RCMP explained that the criteria for an Amber Alert, which typically requires information like a suspect, a specific vehicle, or evidence of abduction, were not met in this case. Instead, they issued vulnerable persons alerts, a distinction that would later spark considerable public discussion and concern, particularly from family members like their mother, Malia, and paternal grandmother.
See, this one here is just chase and tell again. The only thing new about this one right here, this update, is that she's trying to say everything that Daniel told her, but she's lying through her teeth, trying to keep herself out of hot water. Malia's sister didn't. That's not who was in here that night. And that they're trying to throw the heat off on the wrong people here. I mean, Malia and her mom, yeah, sure. But Daniel's just as involved as the rest of them. None nuts is. But you see how it's starting to go back and start telling again the same old, same old thing. Hey, Tori. Happy 4th of July to everybody. That one there was Melinda Gray drops bombshell. He told me everything, but you seen just a very little that was said about it. There's one here that said kids were dead. I think this is showing Cody's mom talking and acting weird. Hey, Mammy. Acting weird. Okay, so I believe something had drizzled down from the grapevine, and she's heard. But she just keeps saying, I believe somebody hurt them children. And then there was one saying that, she kept them in a basement. Well, that dog won't hunt neither. Okay, so next thing was, what was it? Jack and Lily Sullivan confirmed dead. Malaya was, it says this one here, which now this is just a bunch of junk too, but it says she cried and confessed. But what had they claim is that on the live stream, wherever Malaya was at, that they could see that the children were past time. I don't know if she was holding the phone, turned around wrong way. I don't know. some kind of confession and stuff, which it starts out, and then next thing you know, it starts talking about her being, uh, you know, her being bipolar and angry and this whole 9 yard stuff. But I don't give a damn about that. All they need to do now is, if they got a confession and it's true, then yeah, Malaya did something with the children. Um, she had to have help. Um, and I believe that was between three people. I believe that was Malaya. I believe that was Daniel. And I believe that was Numbnuts. Hey, Judy. Happy 4th of July, though. So, her, this saying here, break it, she cried and confessed. Um, the only way that would make sense is if they actually caught Malaya and got her to confess. Um, yeah, and found more children around up there on that pipeline trail. Yeah, now that they did. Um, about 3 or 4 other children were found up there. But then it starts going back around the same bull crap again. Um, so prayingly that sometime today authorities will, uh, right here, um, um, Lily and Jack gone too soon. When Rose said that they looked very malnourished and had started changing color, um, it very well could have been that she put these children, after she did what she did, into these places we talked about yesterday or last night. Um, and that's why authorities want to get back in there, because they can't clean up all that uh, human fluids and all that kind of stuff. They bleach is not even going to get it. They would have to cut part of the floors out, carpet up, whatever. And that's what they're wanting. And she knows it. And she's just saying that she ain't going to let nobody in there because of a chihuahua. Well, I can count on one hand how many times that it's been confessed to that these children were neglected. It was ruled out of any kind of uh, abduction. And they had something popped up, said that they had the kidnapper suspect arrested, which that's a daggum lie. I mean, unless they got numbnuts in there in the jailhouse, but I don't think so. That was a team effort. I believe it was him and Daniel, if not even Malaya, helped carry these children out to his vehicle. And that's where they said that they were in the back. I'm sure they're talking about the trunk or the back seat. Uh, so here it is from Grandma stating plainly in her own words, uh, okay, happy 4th of July to every one of you, and I love every one of you. Uh, the grandma saying plain and simple, they've gone too soon. They didn't get the chance to grow up and have a life. Um, it's you know like I said, them places that you could actually hide someone in a mobile home or even in a trailer, a camper. Okay, and I mentioned this yesterday. Um, them saying that they were just left in a basement. The only way that that could have been true would have had to been either one of Daniel's friends, Malaya's friend, or one of the mama's friends, or Numbnut's friends, uh, to let them store them children there. I don't believe that no more than anything. Uh, the true logic is that she done the inevitable. She can't take it back. Like I said, I don't know if with her living in a camper, they had running water or just went over to their trailer and took baths and whatnot. If it did not have a hot water heater in it, that would have been a place to hide a child. Some campers have cupboards up above, uh, but they would be two pieces of 2 by 2 um, there separating in the cupboard. Um, if they were placed there, okay, if they were placed there, then that's what authorities are wanting. But we'll really find out if authorities is really gonna do anything or not today. With confessions, with her spilling the beans, maybe turn the camera around the wrong way, and maybe they seen the spot where the children were, or even just the children laid out. I don't know. Um, but confession that the children are deceased. Um, they they would have had to use lime to keep that smell down. If there's a bag of lime even anywhere near around that home, we know what it was used for. Just stopped in to let you all know is doing a search for Summer Moon on Beach Creek and on Ben Hill Road. Awesome. Good deal. That's right, MG. Thank you. It all these little babies, it breaks my heart. It really does. Well, if they could find where that new place is not too far from their home and actually use one of them detectors, then yeah, they could find her. They sure could. And that's what's going to have to happen. Um, we've got confessions from the children. Jack last night mentioned about being choked or strangled. I believe when Rose said that they looked very malnourished, that was the truth. Um, I think that they tried something earlier on, but it really didn't work because Lily tied a piece of clothing around Jack, and they couldn't have did that if one was in a cupboard and one was, in a crawl space or even in a little closet where a hot water heater is supposed to be. They couldn't have got to one another to do that. So I think the idea set was to make people think, yeah, they did go in the woods. Um, they very well could have went for a very short period of time in a spot of the woods, but they would not have been walking. They would have been carried. And they know the dog could pick up a scent that way. And all they'd have to do is set the children on the ground, and that's where they would lose smell right there. So they did try to think this thing through. And I told you last night, everybody's turning on one another, you know, and it really took something for Daniel to start rapping on Malaya. Now, either they watched the show and we strung a chord with them, they heard the truth, or one of them's guilt got to them. Maybe one of her, uh, Ada, have you like, maybe one of her friends just couldn't hold it in anymore, or numbnuts kept talking and just got Daniel mad. And there's a third thing. If he had an idea that she was trying to get back with Cody, and he knew this, and if Cody came over to their place, see, the tale was she had to work late that night, but her partner ended up staying the night. So I'd tell you right there that Daniel would have been pissed off about that right there. And that he knows she was fixing to probably go anyway. Yeah, probably so. Probably so. She probably threw everything she could in the bag and cut out. I do too, Judy. Um, so if that, whatever initial people that is, if they've got confirmation about the children's whereabouts, uh, they'll drop that $150,000 reward, and if they keep it up, then you know that it's just another lie. Um, but if Malaya was on a live stream, she wouldn't have did a live stream with just anybody. She had to be set up, like one of her friends or something, so she wouldn't think anything. Same way we all feel. Um, that this is just nuts. It's sick. It's okay. Even with her snapping, okay, we heard Jack. We heard his name plain as day. Hooked and choked. So you know what went with that. And with Lily probably seeing what was going on. They couldn't leave her to tell anything, rat on them. So that's why they only put their attention toward Meadow, because it was like Jack and Lily just they lost all interest in them. They couldn't tolerate them anymore. So yeah, there's going to be at least a handful. Um, Now some of them will get lesser charges, of course, but now they can be charged with withholding information about a crime or death. Um, the very reason nobody's been able to put uh, bless you, we all have to. Um, the only reason that we have not seen open, good footage of these children being alive and well is because there's no chance that can happen anymore. And they're right. Children or people just can't vanish without a trace. Maybe this is what the authorities wanted to wait and see if they all turn against one another. Yes, sure will. And now, after hearing these accusations, they'll check into them and see if they're actually real. If they are, you'll see that $150,000 drop. When you see that $150,000 drop, you know they've done got the kids. Um, yeah, it's too easy for me to get Jack and Lily. I mean, y'all seen it didn't take no time. And yeah, people try to override them, but you can hear Jack definitely when he speaks because he speaks loud. Um, I don't believe for 1 minute that well, I don't believe Jack was a shy type person. Lily, yeah, she may have been more of it. Um, but if indeed the situation, then they are better off than we are. And, it deserves Malay and all of them right for just having to live that every day. That's why she didn't want to go back in that trailer. That's why her and Malaya's mama begged them because she slipped up and said she talked to Malaya's mama, uh, Daniel's mama, speaking with Malaya's mama. So that's when they got an argument. And she's like probably saying, "Don't you dare let them back in that camper or that trailer because we'll all go down for this." Why they didn't get a search warrant and just knock the door down, I don't know. Or even maybe they did and they've just not put it to the public yet. Maybe they did get in that trailer and the camper. And maybe, yeah, they did go ahead and put evidence together. Or, I don't know why my mind keeps going blank. DNA. Bless you, love. Yes. Um, so we know now that numbnuts 1000% is a straight up lie, which we knew that to begin with. Like I said, when he got turned down and couldn't weasel his way in there with that family, he turned on them. And yeah, he's the one that started shedding some light, but the words he said was just a daggum lie. But the accusations were strong enough to get authorities wanting to be back in that home. If um, I mean, mm, I still would love if somebody could just show, you know, some proof that these babies are okay. I would love that, but with 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 my feelings, my depth in my soul keeps telling me the only reason they cannot show footage of these children is because of the inevitable. Should be 85. Has to go take care of granddaughter too. Or most love you too, honey. Be careful. Um, I I don't know if all of them are gonna start off trying to say a few new words and circle back around and start talking about everything we already know, like that one just did. I don't know. Um, but it would be nice, even if not none of them, even if not, okay, all 5 or 6 of them don't come forth, but someone does or would, and just go ahead and tell it. You know, the children are no longer here with us or whatnot. They're right there, whatnot. I still believe that these children are right there under everybody's noses. Um, I, I don't think that I could count maybe on 2 hands of a woman, a mother that supposedly that the the day your children come up missing. I don't think that the normal mother would run off. She would be the first one out searching. And I'm dadgum sure she wouldn't be out living up her best life laying on the beach somewhere with some friends while her children are hanging in for their life. That is dead giveaway right there. That is proof in the pudding that she knows everything. Authorities know this. They can't be that stupid. They can't. And maybe the chief up there or the district attorney's like, we got to have more evidence or whatever to make this thing stick. Well, all he has to do too is shut up and listen. Okay, the kid's done told everything. Yeah, I mean, all that's it. I mean, all they have to do is shut up, open their ears, and listen. Numbnuts done told it. Now Daniel's done told almost everything. And Malaya, she's still going to uh, act ignorant because apparently, now if it's true, like I said, if it's true, we don't know. She did a live stream or a face call, and I'm sure it was probably with a friend because she wouldn't trust nobody else. And either the way she moved, they could see the children in the back with no movement, or something. Something's they seen something or they've heard something. And with her crying and one of them saying the children are dead, then that tells me the school has not seen them, no doctor has seen them, no authority has got footage from anywhere, town, neighbor, nothing. Okay, nothing. All right, pick up smell at the end of the driveway, which would be normal if they set them down or just let it don't touch the ground. And I don't care, 4-year-old, 6-year-old, they're heavy if you carry them for a while. Set them down right there for a little bit. That's where the dog's going to stop because that's where the smell's going to stop. They said they were in the back. I'm sure they was talking about the back seat. Now, either they're not. I don't know where the basement would have come in from, unless, like I said, one of the friends had a basement. Why was Malaya standing on the side of the road? What were they getting rid of the evidence of? We already know. The children are the evidence. I mean, and then Numbnut saying, okay, we done went too far. Daniel saying that Malaya and her mama know exactly what happened because they were the two involved. But it was told that Daniel's people, Malaya's people, clashed there in the yard. And Daniel's mom and them run that other bunch off. Why did they try to keep Daniel away from the children or Meadow, but then again let him see Meadow for just a few minutes with it being supervised? Uh, it could be because he think they could try to make him talk, and in his mind saying, if I speak, if I talk, you know, they see how nutty she is, I would get custody of the kid. Or he could say, I just want her to be fine. Cody and his grandmother can have them. Malaya's mother can have it, whatever. But I just want to see Meadow. And that could have been a, a trick. If you tell us this, we'll let you see Meadow. And we know for a fact that he got to see Meadow for a few minutes. So the trade in was for him to tell something to get to see the baby for a few minutes. Now that he knows that he's done put it out there, well, again, you can't take back what you've already done or said. If they don't go ahead and lock these people up today and claiming about somebody can't get no search warrant, that's bullcrap. If they don't bust that door in today, get the rest of the DNA. If you see that they're taking down that $150,000, you know that the children are already in authorities' custody. My goodness, he's all just lined up with birthdays, wasn't he? No, she don't even deserve the title of mother. And your mama's a little firecracker. Good morning, family. Could be love. I don't know. Could be like that. But I know that trailer ain't got no daggone basement in it. Now that could be a crawl space where you run your lawnmower up in there and get it out of under the weather. But now they mentioned shed last night too, and I told y'all that shed had a brand new tarp put over on top of it, and they didn't even cut out for a door opening to go into that shed. But now, I mean, we heard something probably the most stupidest that we'll probably ever hear in our life. Missing grandbabies worried about Chihuahua's nervous system. Which one would be more important? Why did authorities say we don't give a damn about your dog? Go to the car, print out the search warrant, and say, "Look, I'm coming in. Either you get out and get out my way, or I'm gonna throw you out." Something's not crossing up right with authorities here. They're wait. They can't be waiting for anything else. They've done got confessions. Confessions is enough to hold anybody's with for any kind of crime. They can't say anymore. Let's see if in the last couple of minutes anything else popped up new right here. Let's just check it out real quick. Refresh. Yeah, now, like I said, nowadays they can go in their car and have one printed out, and all they got to do is text the judge, and it's already pre-signed. All he has to do is touch a button, and his name, his signature, will be on that paper that comes out of that printer in the cop car. Takes about 30 seconds. The rumors are true. They just didn't disappear. We know that. Um, let's see. Arrest the kidnapper. Yeah. Um, they just. Um, got away with murder. Not Harley. The pink blanket. Okay, the torn piece of the blanket does match Lily's. Jack and Lily Sullivan, their confession again. Arrest is coming soon. There was no missing for the children. Lily and Jack Sullivan, what was in the cupboard? Kids are there. Breakthrough. RCMP found a body. We don't know that was a little boy. Daniel's secrets exposed. Of course, we done heard about that. We planned it together. Lily plainly said that they all decided on this together, how to set it up. The very first words that come out their mouth when I did a spirit box session with these babies is that grandma was there. He pretended, he faked it, and she knows it. So nobody tell me that both sets of parents and their families don't know everything, because they do. Some text was leaked, exposed, but even though they got this on the thumbnail, you can listen to it and it just plays over and over and over, same junk we already heard. So nothing there. Now this here, see, is what pissed me off. This is what really, really pissed me off and caused me to rant. They, let's see, whoever edited it in said RCMP found her body, and once you start listening to it, there wasn't nothing but the interview with Daniel, the same old junk we was hearing. That's why I got so pissed off. You don't get people's hopes up or down just because you want a view. All right, 6 days ago, kids are alive. Well, we done figured that ain't right. And then they had that rescue Lily and Jack where they used that cop scene showing that they're kicking in the door. But that is at a house. And the only way they could be in a basement is if they were in a house or something. But they would have been, if the police wear a body cam, okay? They wear a body cam. These children would have been seen all around the world. That's where, they're ignorant and just plain out stupid. If there's no way that these children could not be seen somewhere. And that one said breakthrough body found. That was that little boy. He said, I'm shook. He just told on himself. Mr. Numbnuts, that's when he was trying to rat on all of them. Are they looking for Lily and Jack? Well, yeah, they were, but a lot of things were just them other children. And this one right here says, breaking news, remains found. That's where they found them two children. And then there's where it says the stepfather tries to tell on Cody. Remains found alongside the pipeline and that was them two little girls. The grandma uh, shares her saddening thought. She believes that someone has hurt the children, and that, she just kept saying that over and over like a broken record. This is why the searchers thinks missing kids are not in the woods. Period. Um, One secret out 2 weeks ago. That's where he was standing there holding pictures like that. Major breakthrough found in the case 10 days ago. Bad news coming out in this case. I mean, they're all like this one right here. Latest update. Now, this was a month ago. Latest update, Lily and Jack Sullivan. Uh, the remains found reveal a terrible secret. It wasn't even them that they found. It was some other children. So yeah, they're making these thumbnails to trigger your eye, to catch your eye, to get you to watch it. But you're just going to be hearing the same daggum stupid thing. Um, she handed over the footage from the trail cams, but a week before and a week after. So she might get in trouble over that. Uh, and there's been a murder. Uh, she just protect them. Mm-hmm. Parents' terrible secret out, which we done all these. And the most aggravating part, uh, other than when they go in and actually lay eyes on these children, is numbnut saying that if the Reds could have got to them while alive, their identities could have been uh, hidden and they could have been taken care of very well. Uh, and all these accusations, that's why these Reds are turning against Malaya and her mama. Uh, their lives will never be the same. There's nobody going to hire somebody that believes that they did something to their children. Uh, so yeah, arrest is coming. They've done got confessions. What, 5 times, 6 times now? They know if they get a search warrant that they're fixing to match up the DNA because the rip spot in the blanket already matches her blanket. It's the authorities' fault up there for not doing their job. Yeah. Uh, 5 so far, I do believe. 2 girls, a boy and a girl, and then a boy. So I think 5. Uh, I mean, yeah, just kick in that gun door, get you a little box, just got you Q-tips in it and whatnot, and just kick the door down. Go in there and look around, and in the spots that you suspect, if anything's been replaced or cut out or whatever, there's your facts. There's your proof in the pudding. And I can tell you, if you do like I'm talking about, and you look up Google crime scene cleanups, you will see how just one drop of blood, how far it goes. And let me tell you something. They cannot completely erase every bit of the footage in the trailer or the camper. They would have to put a whole new flooring system in. They'd have to put all new paneling up, everything. They had to remodel everything, and you know they ain't done that. So hey John, so they gonna find DNA, but now I'm blaming the police up there and authorities and the district attorney. It's their fault. It's their fault that these children are not already laid to rest. And it's a piss poor excuse for authorities up there. These children deserve a little bit more respect than what they're getting. Uh, put your big boy pants on. Like I said, it's pathetic anybody has to hide behind a badge just to be tough. Daggum it. So, uncrinkle your little panties, stand up like a man, and go in there and get your daggum DNA. And while in the process, take you maybe a couple of sets of handcuffs and bring the nut jobs out and put them in the cell. Make them sit in there a few hours and then take and put them in the interrogation room and interrogate them for about 24 hours. Which, if they had any sense, they got enough stuff to present to the judge to get them off. I mean, how many times it got to be told? And I'm not talking about just from us. Even the stuff that people are putting up here. I mean, who would have thought that Daniel would have ever even turned on Malaya? He got pissed. He got afraid, and he's probably in his mind saying, "Look, I'm not going down by myself." Same way with numbnuts. He don't want to go down by himself. Malaya should kill herself if they don't go and get her. Don't turn no siren on, no lights, no nothing. Just come in and get her butt. Now, to throw it off course, yeah, that's why they worded it that way. That the children have been down in the basement. But the thing of it is that they were malnourished. And even Rose said that they look very sickly, changing color. If they starved these babies to death, that is the most horrible and very, very painful death. And the only reason Malaya is actually even crying now is because they've caught her butt. Before it was crocodile tears. But if there's not an arrest, but say within the next 24 hours, then you know for a fact that these authorities are not going to do a daggum thing. Not one thing. Because in their eyes, their mind, we need more. We need this. We need that. If you're going to let a chihuahua keep you from getting some children's DNA, you need to be fired and working on the chain gang in prison if you're that ignorant. Okay? That's the stupidest thing we'll probably ever hear through any sessions. Won't go in because of a chihuahua. That's about, yeah, crawl space. There's no, ain't no baby. No. 3-year-old, 6-year-old found by pipeline. Yeah, and they ended up finding a little boy there too. but it was just some remains, so we don't know how long it's been or anything. Um, Join. Uh, Somebody come to the door. It is done when the kids are missing. Well, the kids has done told the story themselves. Even told what the parents and all and grandparents even was talking about. They all come together in agreement to try to keep all this a secret. You know, these kids are smarter than they give them credit for. So when they go to jailhouse, okay, that's it. You know, I would do a speedy trial because it will go for a jury. And there's no way under this sun that people are not going to find them guilty. There's no way. And like I said, within the next 24 hours, we'll know if these right here updates are true. Because if the $150,000 reward is still up, all these updates right here are a daggone lie. If they are not locked up within the next 24 hours, then we know they're not going to do a thing about it. And if they do, it will be way down the road before they even let out to the public that the DNA matched. So the next 24 hours will be very, very crucial. Because you can keep hearing them say we'll put out to the public each time we find any new clues. Well, let's see if they're telling the truth too. Well, guys, I'm gonna get off here for a little while. Now, I don't know what time we might go live tonight because we're going down there to Goose Pond. She wants to watch them fireworks, so but we'll film all that too. It may be pretty late if we get to come on tonight. So just keep an eye on your devices. I love every one of you, and happy 4th of July. Everybody stay safe.